Okay, thank you. Well, good afternoon and welcome to everyone that's joined us. This is the launch of the webinar series on migration and landscape, which has been organized by the Agricultural and Landscape Working Group of IFLA. It's my pleasure to make a few opening remarks, and then we will get on soon after that to the presentations. And suffice in the exploration of this issue and the idea between agricultural and landscape architecture has been gaining quite a lot of prominence in the last few years, not the least because of the impact on human environment and society and the environment generally speaking. And congruent with these issues is the major phenomenon which we're going to hear about today of migration and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of people, and then the proliferation of refugee and migrant encampments around the world. To address these issues, the working group on agriculture and landscape has posed to explore and discuss the potential role that landscape architecture has in these migrant settlements and farms around the world. I just want to maybe give you a little bit of a personal take as I introduce this to you. Recently, I was doing work in Malawi, in southern Africa, in the Sheri River. In that part of the world, the Miamba woodland is a major biome. And you can see from this diagram the kinds of benefits that society and animals and plants get from these biomes. They stretch extensively across southern Africa, from Namibia, Mozambique, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, all the way up to Tanzania and the DRC. And they are a major source of livelihood, climate regulation, biodiversity, etc., and soil conservation and water catchments occur in these areas. This is what a healthy woodland looks like. This is in Malawi, taken about a week or so ago at the Majeti Wildlife Reserve. And you can see, although it's the winter or just coming out of winter, the bush is very dense and intact. But unfortunately, this is what's happening there. And this is happening extensively across these countries that I mentioned, where the woodland itself has been devastated and destroyed. And here again, in this photograph, you can see this is a Sheri River that flows out of Lake Malawi and through into Mozambique. On the left bank, you can see what's happening here, where the woodland is completely devastated. Not much is growing. On the right bank, where there's some conservation happening, that's the sort of differential that we find in these areas. And the main culprit of all of this is charcoal. It's culturally, people still love to cook with charcoal. And what happens is the people in the rural areas is probably their only source of income. They cut the forest down, burn and make charcoal, and then transport these 7 or 8 bags of these, as you can see there, on one bicycle, and they will walk up to 2 or 3 days to get to the cities to deliver this charcoal to the cities. So it's devastating the landscape, and it causes things like flooding. This is the route that I had to take in the area. In the rural areas, all the bridges were out, and we had to find a way across the rivers. So major floods are occurring because the woodland is removed. There's agricultural is limited, and the situation is quite dire. So where does this leave the people then? In Malawi, approximately half of their population of 19.1 million lives on less than $1.90 a day. And according to the World Bank, for every 3 Malawians that moved out of poverty between 2010 and 2019, 4 fell back into poverty. So it's through what they call weather shocks. So you can see that the situation is going backwards. And escape, according to the World Bank in a report they did in 2022, escaping poverty in Malawi requires improved agricultural productivity, climate resilience, and structural transformation. So the question is then, where and how are we going to deal with these kinds of situations? Today's keynote speakers, while maybe not addressing specifically the issues that I've raised, will talk about these issues: border crossing and placemaking, migration and syndrome of urbanization, migration and health, and the migration phenomena in the middle Mediterranean region. So with no further ado, then, I would like to thank our speakers today for presenting their work. There will be a question and answer period towards the end of the presentations, and we look forward to hearing our views from the audience as well. And so also just would like to then thank Carlos and his team for putting together the series of webinars, which starts today, and the launch of this series of webinars. And we look forward to the series as we go forward. So thank you, and it's over to you, Maria.